He commands rooms with a voice like thunder and a mind sharp enough to cut through silence. Some say he's arrogant. Others call him a genius. But love him or hate him, when he speaks, you listen. For over 2 decades, he's dominated boardrooms, inspired millions, and terrified the unprepared. But behind the polished speeches, the tailored suits, and the viral one-liners is a story you've never heard. He built an empire with nothing but a voice, then lost everything in the glare of the spotlight. But what they didn't expect was his comeback. This is the rise, fall and roarback of Africa's loudest lion, Vusi Thembekwayo. Before the world knew his name, Vusi Thembekwayo was just a boy from Benoni, a township east of Johannesburg, South Africa. Born in 1985 into a country crawling out of apartheid, opportunity was still scarce for a young black boy with big dreams. Vusi's journey was marked by early tragedy. At the age of 13, his dad was gunned down, a moment that would shape his resilience and ambition.
Years old, my father gets gunned down. And my dad was like he was the main income earner in the house. So that immediately affected our, how do I say it? It affected us.
His dad was the major income earner of the household. Everything changed after his death. While there were better quality of education in the white schools, but it was expensive, Vusi's single mother promised to keep him in that school, but under one condition: he must be number 1 inch everything. This formed the seed of his obsession with excellence. For Vusi, school wasn't school, it was war. Every activity was a competition. If he became number 2, it led to weeks of discussions at home. He skipped 2 grades. A mind sharpened by pain, the foundations of a genius were being laid. One day, he got in trouble at school. Not the dangerous kind, just the kind that earns you detention. But instead of being sent home, he begged to be given a punishment instead. His punishment was to join the public speaking team. Little did they know, they were setting him up for world dominance. While most fear public speaking more than death, Vusi thrived. Statistically, 77% of people would rather be in the coffin than give a public speech. But Vusi, he didn't just show up. He stole the mic, ready to become number 1. He won his school championship that same year. Then the national competition. By the time he was age 17, Vusi had done something no one from his background had ever achieved. He had become a 2-time world public speaking champion, a rare global accolade for a township kid with nothing but pain and passion. By 19, this wasn't a hobby. It was an obsession, his purpose and destiny. While his friends picked college majors, Vusi picked microphones. He had found his voice, and the world was about to hear it. His voice had taken him across borders, across oceans, world stages, global awards, standing ovations. But for Vusi, something still didn't feel complete, because applause doesn't pay salaries, and inspiration doesn't build legacies. In South Africa's growing economy, a new wave was forming. Young, hungry, post-apartheid entrepreneurs were emerging. And Vusi, with all his insight, strategy, and confidence, didn't want to be a passenger. He wanted to drive the damn train. He launched his first company in his early 22nd, a small logistics business. It failed. Then another consultancy, almost failed too. But failure wasn't foreign to him. Losing his father at 13 taught him how to rebuild. So he studied the game, the markets, the mindset, the models. Vusi flipped the script. He treated public speaking like a full-scale business. Bookings, systemized, pricing, premium. He didn't wait for agents to find gigs. He fired them. And built an in-house team to run brand Vusi like a media empire. He wasn't just delivering motivational speeches. He was talking business insights and strategies. He created processes for lead generation, client onboarding, IP packaging, content licensing, brand design. Every keynote was a campaign. Every workshop was a funnel. Every speech became a product. In a world where most African speakers were chasing visibility, Vusi chased equity. And in doing so, he redefined the speaking industry across the continent. His personal brand became its own enterprise, spanning masterclasses, digital products, consulting, and paid global keynotes. He wasn't just in the business of public speaking. He made public speaking into a business. By 25, Vusi Thembekwayo became the youngest director of a multinational company in South Africa, managing a portfolio worth over 400 million rand. He was no longer just the guy with the mic. He was now the guy writing the checks. From keynote speaker to keynote investor. The boy from Benoni was now sitting in boardrooms once designed to keep men like him out. But it was his appearance on Dragon's Den South Africa that launched him into the public eye. On the show, he played the role of the hard-to-impress investor, sharp-tongued, intimidating, and never afraid to challenge an entrepreneur's pitch. He became a household name. Viewers either loved him or hated him, but no one could ignore him. While most influencers were chasing followers, Vusi started building future leaders. Masterclasses, seminars, executive briefings. From Johannesburg to Lagos, Nairobi to London, he began exporting African intellectual capital. But speaking and inspiring them alone wasn't enough. He wanted to fund them. So in 2014, Vusi founded My Growth Fund, a venture capital firm and incubator that aimed to invest in African entrepreneurs. The goal was to create a new class of black industrialists, something he believed was essential for Africa's economic future. From fintech to education, agriculture to logistics. Vusi's fund became a bridge between capital and possibility. He wasn't just betting on Africa's future, he was helping build it. Corporate South Africa hailed him as a visionary. He was mentoring CEOs, consulting for governments, and gaining a reputation as Africa's most outspoken capitalist. His TEDx talks were going viral. His interviews were fiery. Vusi had become more than a businessman. He was a brand, a movement. He authored a best-selling book, The Magna Carta of Exponentiality. He shared global stages with icons like Malcolm Gladwell and Richard Branson. For years, Vusi Thembekwayo was untouchable, the voice, the vision, the vanguard. But in 2021, the headlines turned. Vusi Thembekwayo charged with assault. Thembekwayo accused of abuse. The media had a new obsession, and this time, it wasn't his business genius. It was a scandal tailor, made for the internet. A bitter fallout from his marriage. Accusations, statements, denials. Suddenly, the man who inspired millions was forced into the one thing he hated most: silence. For some, it confirmed their worst suspicions. For others, it was a trial by the media. No court verdict, just character assassination. Vusi never crumbled publicly. But behind closed doors, everything was at risk. His brand, his business, his legacy. While most would disappear after a scandal, Vusi recalibrated. He rebranded, rebuilt, re-entered the arena this time, sharper, leaner, focused. Not for redemption, but for domination. The VT brand was born. His global keynotes return now with more edge. His business portfolio expanded advisory, investment, publishing. He launched Thinker's Room, a platform for unfiltered thought leadership. And he leaned hard into Pan-Africanism, calling for borderless trade, borderless education, and borderless ambition. He became more than South Africa's speaker. He became Africa's strategist. Today, Vusi Thembekwayo wears many titles: investor, author, global speaker, father. But beneath it all, he's still the boy from Benoni who refused to be forgotten. He speaks of building a $1 billion African fund, changing the continent through education, equity, and economics, training 100,000 entrepreneurs before he retires, and of creating a legacy bigger than his name. His story isn't just about business. It's about the invisible war every African dreamer is fighting. The war between what is and what could be. Vusi Thembekwayo didn't just survive that war. He spoke through it. He built through it. Through triumphs and trials, applause and adversity. He became more than just a voice. He became a symbol of what's possible. And in the end, when asked what Africa truly needs, he didn't say money. He didn't say power. He said something deeper.
Your people need a little bit of faith. There's the ability to believe in the impossible, to see the invisible, and to trust in the unknown. Leaders of this moment and this season, if we are to lead and to truly lead, we're going to have to learn to be people of faith.